Today, we are confronted with what may be termed the ultimate revolution, the final revolution that allows one individual to act directly on the minds and bodies of others. While some level of direct action on human minds and bodies has occurred throughout history, it has typically manifested in violent forms. The techniques of terrorism have been recognized since ancient times, employed with varying degrees of ingenuity, sometimes crudely, and at other times with considerable skill. This has involved methods such as torture, imprisonment, and various constraints. As the philosopher Metternich once remarked, "You can do everything with bayonets except sit on them." This implies that to control any population over time, a degree of consent is necessary. It is exceedingly challenging for pure terrorism to function indefinitely. While it can persist for a period, eventually, an element of persuasion and consent must be introduced. The nature of the ultimate revolution we now face is the development of a range of techniques that will enable a controlling oligarchy, who have always existed and likely always will, to induce individuals to actually love their servitude. This represents, in my view, the pinnacle of a malevolent revolution. There seems to be a general trend towards this ultimate method of control, whereby individuals can be made to derive satisfaction from a state of affairs that, by any reasonable standard, they should not find enjoyable, specifically the enjoyment of servitude. Let's first discuss the advancements in the methods of terrorism. Notably, Pavlov made profound observations regarding conditioning techniques applied to both animals and humans. He discovered that conditioning, when applied to beings in a state of psychological or physical stress, embeds itself deeply within the mind and body, making it exceedingly difficult to eliminate. Dr. William Sargent's work, Battle for the Mind, reveals how some prominent religious leaders of the past inadvertently employed Pavlovian methods. He specifically cites John Wesley's technique for producing conversions, which involved heightening psychological stress to its peak by speaking of hellfire, thus making individuals highly susceptible to suggestion. Following this, the release of stress through the promise of heaven exemplifies how intuitive methods can align with scientific understanding. We now recognize why these techniques function so effectively, and there is no doubt that we can further develop them beyond what was previously possible. In recent history, methods of brainwashing, employed for prisoners of war and within the Communist Party in China, illustrate how Pavlovian techniques have been systematically applied with remarkable effectiveness. There is no doubt that these methods have forged a vast army of profoundly devoted individuals. The psychological conditioning has penetrated so deeply into people's psyches that it becomes nearly impossible to eradicate. I believe these methods represent a significant refinement of earlier terror-based strategies, as they blend methods of terror with those of acceptance, leading individuals to involuntarily accept their circumstances. Next, we explore non-terroristic techniques aimed at inducing consent and fostering a love for servitude. This includes methods related to suggestion and hypnosis. While the concept of suggestion has been known for ages, the scientific understanding of it has evolved. We now understand the statistical structure of suggestibility within populations. Research has consistently shown that about 20% of individuals can be easily hypnotized, while a similar percentage is extremely difficult to hypnotize. Between these extremes lies a substantial group of individuals who can be hypnotized with varying degrees of effort. This suggestibility holds significant political implications. For instance, any demagogue capable of rallying a substantial number of highly suggestible individuals is positioned to challenge any government successfully. Historical figures like Hitler serve as examples of how efficient methods of suggestion and persuasion can be wielded with devastating effect. Hitler understood the importance of conditioning during states of stress or fatigue and strategically organized his speeches at night when people were more susceptible to persuasion. This understanding of human vulnerabilities demonstrates the need for careful consideration regarding democratic governance. In the realm of persuasion, we now possess mechanisms that amplify the voice and image of demagogues in a hallucinatory manner. Television and radio provide modern demagogues with the ability to reach millions simultaneously, creating a chasm between contemporary and ancient methods of persuasion. The ancient demagogue could only influence a crowd within earshot, while modern figures can touch countless lives at once, producing powerful, hypnotic, and suggestive effects. This situation presents a significant danger as it tempts those in power. Regularly, we pray to avoid temptation, yet experience shows that prolonged exposure to temptation often leads to succumbing. Establishing a just society involves minimizing the opportunities for abuse of power. However, the new techniques emerging today pose powerful temptations for those in authority, which could potentially become irresistible. In our world, emotions may evolve into mere fear, rage, triumph, and self-abasement, leading to the eradication of loyalty to anything other than the party. The intoxication of power will reign supreme, with the thrill of victory stemming from the oppression of the helpless. If you wish to envision a bleak future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. The essential lesson from this dire scenario is clear. We must actively prevent it from occurring. The responsibility lies with us.